Hey mini enthusiasts, how are you doing? Welcome back. I hope you're all well and I hope you're having a great day. Today's video, really exciting. We're on the Super City and let's just have a recap. So the big plans with the Super City are, as you might have guessed, to supercharge it. So I want to do a small bore 998cc supercharged mini. So there you go. The first thing we've got to do is get this engine and gearbox out. And I'm probably going to be taking the subframe out as well at some point. But for today, we're just going to get that engine and gearbox out. I'm going to take you through it step by step. Let's get stuck in. And one other issue we need to address with the engine is it's got bad oil leaks. That's 1 week of standing. Quite a big leak. Right, first thing, most important, I'm an advocate of this. Nice, tidy workshop and plenty of storage. The first job we're going to do, we're going to jack up the back end and we're going to take the exhaust system off from the LCB downpipe and get that out of the way. Right, doesn't always go to plan. I've got a right predicament. So letting it back down again, I didn't realise until the last moment that the jack handle was up behind the rear valance, and now I managed to stop it in time. But now I need to jack it up to get the handle out, but I can't jack it because the handle's trapped under there. So don't quite know what I want to do at the moment. I need a second jack really. Nothing like a bit of sketchy shit to start the day off, eh? Right, that's that disaster averted. The jack handle's now a couple of inches shorter, probably about 3 inches shorter. That's a bit I chopped off. Next time I get the welder out, I'll just weld it back on again. Right, next step. So, it sounds really weird, but I'm going to do the bonnet alignment now, because the bonnet alignment's not perfect. Only bit that wants adjusted is a bit high on this side. So I'm going to get the bonnet alignment perfect, and then we're going to drill through the hinges so we've got a perfect reference when it goes back together. Now, hopefully I don't have to replace any of the panels on the front, but if I do, having the bonnet perfectly aligned so you can put the pins back through gives you a reference point. So not planning to replace the front end, but just in case we do get that involved, let's get the bonnet alignment set up. Right, so I've drilled both sides. What that allows you to do when you're going back together, you can I drilled 4mm holes. I used to drill 3mm, but they're a bit too small. It moves around a little bit, so I've gone the next size up, 4mm. You can slot 2 4mm drill bits in there, and we've got no knots on the back, but when I go back together, I know that's going to be pretty much there or thereabouts aligned. Right, next up we're just going to get it jacked up, get it on an axle stand and get the front wheels off. Just makes it easier for me to work on because I'm a little bit tall, so don't like bending over the bonnet. It's got to go up in the air anyway. Right, next up, we're going to take the wheels off, we're going to take the hubs off, and we're going to get the drive shafts out. The first thing we will do, I've got a nut gun, we'll get the hub nuts off first before we do anything else, because if they don't come off with the impact wrench, then you need someone inside putting their foot on the brake. You can also do with the help of the servo, so it's one of the first things to do, get those hub nuts off. Right, so that's the brake disc off. We just need to get the hub off now. So the top ball joint has already popped. You find that sometimes, but definitely that track rod end and the bottom one are going to need the tool to get them out. See, I've tied the caliper up. Don't just leave them hanging because you'll damage the rubber hose. So yeah, let's get those off with a ball joint splitter, and then we can take the hub off and we'll just have the drive shaft, and then same job on the other side. Right, next jobs are all quite straightforward. We need to disconnect the battery negative terminal, grill off, air filter off, drain the oil out of it, and then we need to pop the drive shafts out, which can be a bit of a pain. There is a special tool, but usually you can just get away with like a wide screwdriver up between the disc case and the drive shaft, but drain the oil first. And if anyone's interested, I'll probably put this twin box air intake on eBay. I'm not going to need it again, but it's a nice little mod. And if you watch the AC Dodd videos, yeah, that setup works pretty nicely on a 998. Right, while that oil's draining, we'll whip off the oil filter in a moment just to get it out of the way. And we are going to now inlet manifold, so we need to blank off the fuel pipes, get all that inlet manifold off. We're then going to remove the brake servo, and then I'm probably going to remove the distributor, alternator and starter motor as well, just to get them out of the way. They're going to have to come off the engine anyway, so I might as well take them off now. So we'll go into time lapse, get this bit done. But this is all quite straightforward stuff, especially with the bonnet off now. Carburettor's obviously a little bit tricky, but yeah, let's just get into it. Right guys, so thanks for watching this evening, and apologies that the video's a little bit later than normal. Just had issues with editing, kept crashing when rendering, so it can be a nightmare that. So we're about 3.5 hours into this edit so far. So yeah, I'll try and narrate a little bit through, just because obviously I'm skipping through it sort of 16 times speed here. So obviously just disconnecting everything from the carburettor, the fuel pipes, the choke cable, throttle cable, the servo vacuum pipe, and I'm going to remove the servo here just because it makes life a lot easier to get it out of the way. It's a big piece of metal. Just applying some penetrating fluid to the bolts because they tend to corrode a little bit up on the bulkhead, so worth keeping that in mind. Just remove the distributor cap and leads, make sure you mark them up, number them so you know which way to stand back together, and removing the actual servo bracket was a bit of a pain. I had one bolt at the back which goes down into the pedal box, which was very, very tight, so I just kept working it backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. The last thing you want to do is break it, so just be gentle, apply penetrating fluid. So there we go, that's the servo bracket out the way now. We've got the carburetor out the way as well, so all going pretty good. I've removed the top engine steady there. When you remove the top and the bottom, that gives you quite a bit of movement with the engine backwards and forwards. So where you're struggling, sometimes like to get the exhaust manifold out, you'll find that if you disconnect the top engine steady, just give it a wobble, give you a bit more room. So I left the rocker cover on as long as I could, just to make sure we don't get any crud down there. And I've set the engine on top dead centre now, and just marked the distributor position relative to the engine and the rotor arm position. Obviously it's relatively easy to time it back up statically when you're going back together, but it just speeds things along if you can be in the ballpark when getting it set up. I'm marking up the cables on the wiring loop here. To be honest, I probably don't need to do that. I know where they go, but it's just belts and braces again. It's good practice. And obviously the starter motor out now, and I'm going to remove the alternator as well. Again, it's just to make life easier. It's got to come off anyway. It makes the engine a little bit lighter and makes it easier, gives you just a little bit more room at the front. Right then, we're very nearly there. So yeah, just time-lapse most of that. It's just nuts and bolts. You just got to go through it methodically. I have taken off the alternator, starter, distributor just to get them out of the way. All I need to do now is disconnect the bottom of the exhaust bracket where it's on the gearbox. That will get the LCB exhaust out the way. I need to pop out the drive shafts, the inner pot joints. I'll try and show you how to do that if I can get the camera under there. And then we need to unbolt the engine mount bolts and take off the gear selector. So just knock the roll pin out, take off the gear selector and support shaft, and then the engine should be good to go, good to come out. Right, so when it comes to removing the gear linkage, we want to knock out this roll pin here, and we want to knock it through that way. It's just about enough room. Now there is a special tool you can get, or just get a punch that is the correct size, but this is actual specially made for the job. It's a bit tight for room under here, so I've just had to move the axle stand. I've still got it there for safety. Wouldn't be jacking on there, but for safety it's fine. Yeah, we just need to knock that out now, and there we go. A few taps later and the roll pin is out. That will allow you to push the gear lead linkage off. Now we need to disconnect this bar at the top here, which is like a bracing bar, and then we'll be able to get the gear linkage out of the way. Right, when it comes to removing the drive shafts, it's a lot easier to go from on top. So you can see down the back now, big pry bar, just get in there and then give it a good whack on the end. And that's our drive shaft practically out now, all bar a bit of wiggling. Right, so we're all disconnected underneath. The gearbox bracket is off to the exhaust, the manifold's off now, the gear linkage is off, front engine mount's off, drive shafts are out. It's ready to lift out. The only thing we're leaving till the last minute will be the speedo cable. That's just it's a pain to get to now. Once it's on the lifter and once we've lifted it up a bit, it's very easy just to get around the back and disconnect it. So I need to go and get the engine hoist set up now, and we'll pop this engine out. Right, we're just about ready to start lifting. I've just taken the final two bolts for the engine mounts out either side. They go through the subframe. Little tip for you, the other side radiator is not too bad. This side it's really hard. The bolt comes through from this way, so it's a nut and bolt, comes through from that way. Really hard to get a spanner on that back bolt. So what you do, most of the time just get a nut gun on them, they'll spin off, they'll come out and the bolts you can just push through. But that back one, if it's just spinning and spinning, just lift the engine up a bit, just to pull it up, and then it grips on that bolt and you can buzz it out, no problem. Right, literally we just need to lift now. I've got it on this, can't remember, on these front brackets. That tilts the engine over a little bit, which might not be ideal, but I'm more worried about height at the moment, so I'll try that first, see how we get on. Now just to get that speedo cable out. Right, there we go, guys. It is out. Obviously, lots of tidying up to do. I'm going to paint the engine bay. We're going to have the subframe out as well and rebuild all of that. As you can see, it's just a bit grotty in places, and it will look lovely when it's all freshened up. So that's really good. No nasty surprises or anything like that. All our parts are there. I'm always very methodical. I keep everything together. I put the nuts back on the bolts, etc. Just makes your life so much easier. We store all this lot away now, one of those big boxes, and obviously all this lot will get cleaned up and refurbished as we go through. Quite a straightforward job. I started at 11, I stopped for about half an hour, 45 minutes for lunch, and then there's a bit of faffing around filming and that. It's 4 o'clock now, so it's taken me probably 4.5 hours. I'm going to put the hubs back together just loosely so I can put the wheels back on and move it around again. Hopefully I can probably turn it around and get it back in its spot so I can get the TVR back in the garage, because and then probably in the coming weeks I'll remove that subframe as well, and then I'll get it on a pallet so I can move it around. And obviously I need to get all that engine stripped down now and just have a bit of a look at it and see what we're dealing with. Right guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. That was a bit rough and ready and quick. So the engine's out, car's back in its place. I need to do a bit of tidying and the TVR's back in its home. So it's 4:30 now. I need to get this video out by 6:30. So I've got to get in and do a quick edit and get it uploaded. So yeah, thanks for watching this week. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please do consider subscribing. It's free. And if you want to drop me a comment, I do read all the comments. Catch you again on the next one. Cheers.